Okay, back on this XT500 motor. So what we've got, I've just put the valve back in and the dial gauge set back up onto it, so we can kind of just, we've got a new valve, so brand new valve there, as you can see. So what I want to do is just a comparison again. There's nothing better than a comparison, so I'm trying to just keep a little bit of pressure. The nuts are on behind the valve, so a little bit of pressure on. Just keep it sat down on the nuts, and as we can see there, that is why we condemned that valve, because it's been kissed, I think is a better word than twatted, isn't it? So yeah, it's been kissed by the piston as the big end was letting go. Okay, so pretty definitive that. We can see a lot of movement there just as I'm rotating it. A lot of out around, well, not concentric to the valve stem. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just lift that off, take the valve out, attempt to put the new one in, give me my nut back. Okay, then we'll have a look at it in comparison. Nothing's moved here. I think there's a variation in the head of the valve from original, different profile, because that, where the nuts have touched the bottom of that one, it's moved further down, so I've just got to move the gauge down at slightly more of an angle to get it. But anyway, as we can see now, if we rotate that one, so we get what it, that's why we condemned that one. We made the call, and we made the right call, to be fair, that he is consigned to the parts bin, to the scrap bin, sorry. So there we go. So that's that. We've still got a lot of prepping work and whatever to do with this motor. So yeah, so I think we'll pick it up in a bit. What's my next? We're gonna do some guide measurements. So let's do some valve guide measurements, and then we'll proceed to have a look in the oil pump. So just to note, when I said we must have a slightly different profile, if we can actually get the camera angle correct, you can actually see that different shape at the head here. There's the original one, and there's the new one, and it's got like a more modern, has to be said, profile on the valve for a slightly improved gas flow. So there we go, I think we can see it there. Okay, right. Okay, so we've got our small bore gauges. I've got it pretty much set what I think is, I mean, it's actually still a little bit tight there, but on the wear side, because it's going to be this way, the wear, not that way, in the camshaft across here. So the actions pressing down on the valve are in that motion, obviously from underneath. So the wear we're going to see is going to be in fore and aft, not in left to right. Okay, if that makes sense. But so I've got the little gauge set to what I think is a fair assumption of, I mean, it nigh on holds itself in there, look. If I can just, well, you know, the weight sort of takes over and just drops on this side, but it's actually, dare I say, a little bit tight. But now Yamaha's spec on this, just turning to read the book, is let's have a look. Where was I again? Stem to guide clearance is on the exhaust valve. It is 0.04 to 0.06 mil. Okay, so that's pretty accurate for me, that measurement. So I'm just, before I move on, to make sure we're getting it all on. So what I'm going to do, first off, I'm just going to try and get a measurement according to this vernier. Just 0 again. Okay, try again. Now it's 0.2 to 0.4. Coming out at between, to me, coming out between 0.3 and 0.4. Now, what I've also got now is in my drill press, I've got my vernier, my micrometer, an old Michitoya one, accurate as, dare we say. Okay, so, right, can we get that on camera? Is that going to go on camera? Yeah, it is going to go on camera. Right, so what I'm going to do, I've got the vernier scale here, so I'm just going to try so according to the vernier we're on 0.03. So I think it's fair to say we're in the middle of yeah, 0.03. So the micrometer's backed up the vernier, and again, if I just bring, just careful with these gauges. So again, let me see what you're seeing, because it keeps blacking out where I weigh before I exhaust 0.04 to 0.06. okay, so there we go, we're towards the end of the scale, but you know, because it's a bit of a competition engine, we can't keep a stable temperature. It's not water cooled, you know, to try and keep a consistent temperature it can really vary. So for me, I'm going to call it, we're going to leave the guides alone. We're going to put the new valve in, and after accurate valve guide measurement, we're going to put the new valve in, and yeah, call it a draw with that. Okay,